Hey there, Mama Work It Tribe. I'm Marissa Lonick, working mom of 4, lover of all things flow, family, and fulfillment. You're tuning in to the Mama Work It podcast, where we take aim at overwhelm, mom guilt, and exhaustion and swap them out for big dreams, belly laughs, and productivity that actually fits into your life. Every week, we dive into tips, motivation, and a healthy dose of fun so you can slay your day even when you're busy AF. Ready to feel seen, energized, and totally unstoppable? Let's get to work, mama. Hey, mamas. Welcome back to another awesome episode of the Mama Work It podcast, where we support women in the juggle of mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. So happy you're here. If you're new, my name is Marissa Lonick. I am your host and the founder of Mama Work It and a mom of 4 kiddos. So I'm excited to introduce you to our guest today. It is the perfect topic for the season. Her name is Carrie Lupoli. She's a certified nutritionist, speaker, educator, and award-winning behavior specialist. As a former D1 athlete, Carrie struggled with disordered eating, which motivated her to seek lasting solutions for herself and her 2 daughters. She founded Disruptive Nutrition and Diet Disruptors, which is an Apple Top 100 health and wellness podcast, to empower families to achieve optimal health through the science of blood sugar stabilization and behavior change. She also co-founded PFC3, a health and wellness brand to certify and support other health pros, highlighting her dedication to improving workplace wellness and providing nutrition solutions. Carrie's been featured on news outlets across the U.S., including The Today Show, ABC, NBC, Fox, and more. She was recently a featured TEDx speaker in South Africa. She holds 2 master's degrees, and she's certified through the International Board of Nutrition and Fitness Coaching. She's also a founding board member of the International Coaching Academy of Nutrition. Carrie, thank you so much for being here. Super excited to talk about this. Really appreciate it.
If you had told me like just over a decade ago that that's how people would introduce me, I'd be like, oh, no way. I had so many issues. I was so unhealthy. So it's amazing what a little bit of progress over time adds up to.
Isn't it like the best when someone else reads your bio and you're like, wait a minute, that's me?
I'm like,
what?
I did those things. Okay. Because when my daughter was 6, she's 20 now, she was talking about calories in food. And I was literally like, oh my gosh, I am screwing up my kids. And now when you say all that, I'm like, okay, I guess I didn't do
maybe you didn't do such a bad job, right?
Maybe I did okay.
Well, let's talk about how this journey came to be. Give us like the quick and dirty version of Carrie Lupoli's journey to where she is now.
I think as I've learned, like my story is not that different. You might have like, it might not have been pizza, but it might have been something else. It was like your moment where you're like, I am stuck. I am in a bad place. And for me, it was on a Friday family pizza night when my kids were 5 and 6 years old. And I never ate the pizza because I ordered salad with dressing on the side. I was always on a diet. I was always stressing about what I looked like, how much I weighed. I couldn't lose all the weight from pregnancy. It was just like food completely ruled my life, calories, macros, all of the things. And when my 5-year-old said to my 6-year-old, why does mommy never eat the pizza? And my 6-year-old said, oh, because it has too many calories. Right then and there, I knew. I was like, oh my gosh. And when I think about that, I think, wait a minute. This is what we teach women. We teach women to count calories, to count macros, to like enter all the food that they're eating into an app. And so why is it actually so appalling that a 6-year-old is starting to talk about that? If it's that appalling, and everybody tells me, nutritionists, doctors, those same ones that teach women how to count calories, they're all appalled by that story. So I think, wait a minute, there's a disconnect here. If this is what we're teaching women to do, but yet we would be appalled that a 6-year-old talks about that, like there's some mismatch here. And that was a moment of like, I got to figure something out because I knew I had disordered eating. I just thought it was normal. It was like what I contended with. And my mom had it, my grandmother, and I was right there just determined to change my family tree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love that happened to you, but I love that was your moment, that story, you know?
Yeah, I just feel like every one of us has a disruptive event at different times in
Yeah.
our life, and it reinvents us. And as much as I actually talk about this a lot with my clients, I call it the purpose cycle. Like women will I always say, listen, we were not put on this earth to find the right diet. We were put on this earth for a purpose, one uniquely curated just for us. In order for us to fulfill that purpose, we have to be the healthiest version of ourselves. But what ends up happening is like women are like, oh, how do I know what my purpose is? How do I like, I was raising my kids and then they go to college and then what it is. And what I've learned over the years is like, we're always serving our purpose. Our purpose is being served in the moments that we are serving others and that we are impacting others. And there will always be this disruptive event that happens in the middle of what we are doing in the middle of life that either throws us for a loop or changes us in some way that actually allows us to get more insightful, have more wisdom, and to be able to actually impact others deeper. I went through multiple years of infertility, all because of my health, not realizing all of those things were connected. And thank God I had that because I have the daughter I now needed to have, but also I can help others through that. So that disruptive event reinvented me. And this pizza moment reinvented me. And so I now look at these challenges in our life as almost like sometimes I'm sitting back, I'm like, okay, it's like a Netflix movie or a Netflix show. Like, what's going to happen next? How am I going to be reinvented after this next challenge?
So I love that we're recording this with the holidays coming up soon. Why does this season in particular feel so triggering for us when it comes to food, when it comes to routines?
I mean, I think that this is such a loaded question because I think we don't actually have the mindsets of true what health means. And it's something we do. It's not who we are. I think at the end of the day, I'm actually just finishing my book right now. And I have this whole chapter on like, what do we want and why do we want it? And I think for so many women, it's this never ending quest to lose weight, to fix our broken bodies, especially as we get into menopause. I'm 50. I went through menopause at 46. And this is like, my body is changing so much and we're mad at ourselves. We're mad at our bodies. In order to fix our bodies, we have to punish ourselves. We have to go through these restrictive approaches to be able to have worth and have value, because the whole goal is to look a certain way so that we can then have the value, be accepted, all of that. And it's hard. And because we're very confused, there's so much misinformation out there, and our why is not strong. Like when I say to women, do you want to lose weight or do you want to be healthy? They're like, well, I mean, I want to lose weight, but of course I want to be healthy. And I'm like, so when we go after weight loss, we will do things that are inevitably unhealthy because we are so focused on weight. But when we actually truly identify what the healthiest version of us does, says, thinks, and believes, and we go after health, weight loss is a byproduct without a doubt. But what does it mean to be healthy? And I know you talk a lot about time management and about really being able to have systems and balance in our life. That's part of being healthy. But because we focus so much on weight, that throws everything for a loop. So when the holidays then come along, we are on this quest to lose weight, and we can only do it when we are perfect. We can only do it when life is not crazy. We can only do it when there's not stress, because what diet have you ever been able to do on vacation while you're stressed or when life lifes? None. So it's like Christmas surprises us, the holidays surprise us. Like it's based in food, which is the thing we have been told is bad, which is the thing that we have been told we don't have enough willpower around. And so now we're battling these evils of trying to be there for everyone else, have these amazing memories for our kids, to show up in a way that puts everybody first. But we aren't really about health. We're about weight loss. And both of these things conflict during this time of the year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But I also hear that you're saying, in the mindset that you're approaching this now, in this season that you're in, and kind of this epiphany that you had, is like they can be one and the same, but viewed in a very different way.
And that's where it's like people will say, okay, what do I do to make sure my holidays are organized and less stressful? And I'm like, okay, listen, I can give you strategies all day long. I was a behavior specialist for 20 years. This is why I think as a nutritionist, I kind of like have this unique approach, because I'm always thinking about behavior, and behavior is always aligned to our beliefs. I joke like that the BS of the diet industry has us completely bamboozled, but we really need the BS of belief systems and behavioral science so that we can truly understand what we need. And at the end of the day, if we can start recognizing how our thoughts and our beliefs are dictating our actions, we're going to change everything. So the first question is really like, what do you want and why do you want it? For so long, I just really felt like I can be confident. I can be just better at being a woman if I weigh a certain amount, right? And yet, confidence, as somebody that actually learned how to eat in the way that I now teach women, without counting calories, without macros, without entering your stuff on an app, any of that kind of stuff. When I first learned that myself, I lost all the weight, got super strong, had this body, quote unquote, that was like my goal. And all of a sudden I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not any more confident. I am not any actually happier because I didn't actually dig into my belief systems. I became more obsessed because I was more affirmed that my value was in what I look like. I joke because my second daughter's adopted, part of my whole infertility story, and she was adopted from Malaysia. She's Chinese. And we were actually doing a mission trip in China. And she said when she was 3 years old, don't worry, when we go to China, I will speak Chinese because I'm Chinese. And we were like, well, it doesn't work that way. But we didn't say anything to her. My husband and I just had a little chuckle. And as soon as we landed in China, she looks up, she goes, oh, I can't speak Chinese. And we were like, yeah, we know. That's sort of how I feel when women tell me, I just want to be like, if I lose weight, I will feel more confident. And it's like me, I landed in China and couldn't speak Chinese. I fixed my body, but I didn't actually get to the stuff that really allowed me to, quote unquote, speak Chinese. I didn't do the work. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted or why I wanted it. So just like Ellie couldn't speak Chinese as soon as she landed, I suddenly didn't have more confidence. There are plenty of larger women that exude confidence and plenty of smaller women that have no confidence at all. So obviously it has to come from something else. And when we actually think about who we are, what our values are, what the healthiest version of us does, says, thinks, and believes, we show up very differently in seasons like the holidays. Because let's be honest, I don't show up for myself exactly the same way I do during the middle between Thanksgiving and Christmas. My life looks very different than it does in other parts of the year, but I'm intentional. I know my body. I know how to fuel it correctly. I might have extra Christmas cookies than I normally do. I'm going to extra holiday parties. The biggest thing is around understanding health. And I think about it like think about your body like an airplane. For so long, we've been the passenger and we sit in the back and we kind of just allow everybody else to tell us what to do, where to go, how to go there. And we wonder why we keep landing in the wrong place. And my whole motto is that we have to learn how to fly our own plane, like actually learn how to get in the cockpit and have a flight manual for us in our plane, in our situation. So when turbulence comes, so when bad weather comes, so when the holiday season comes, we actually know how to adjust. And yeah, maybe it's going to be a little bumpy, but we're still going to land where we want to land. And I just think so many of us have this mindset of weight loss. Therefore, and a moment of motivation. Like I'm so motivated. I'm so mad at my body right now. I'm motivated enough to punish it, restrict it, right? And then you get in this habit of this mindset of like, oh, but my kids want to make Christmas cookies together, or I have these holiday parties, and the two truths can't actually intermingle. But what if the truth does not rely on deprivation and restriction for you to be healthy? And what if you actually had a definition of health that was flexible and adaptable and was intentional? It changes everything in the way that you approach the holiday season.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially this season, right? It's so deeply rooted in emotion.
Oh, and
deeply rooted in emotion. Yeah. And that's going to translate
and tradition
into some of the things and the feelings you're feeling around the dinner table, around the activities, around the food. Mm-hmm. So how can we approach the holidays, the meals, the events without the guilt, the restrictive eating, the just all of that emotion that may be negatively kind of stealing the joy from it?
Okay. So I think there's a few different pieces of the puzzle. So I'm going to teach you some like logistic, like people are always like, Carrie, just tell me what to eat. Just tell me what to eat. And I'm like, Okay, let's do some nutrition training here so people understand their bodies a little bit more. And then let's
Yes.
talk about some strategies to be able to actually approach the days during holidays
I
that
love
feel
it.
chaotic. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk nutrition first. Our body is a refuel as you go machine. I joke that during COVID, I never got gas in my car because it didn't go anywhere. And yet, I ask women this all the time. Name one thing that thrives in a deficit. One thing. We literally can never think of anything.
I'm really thinking about it and I can't.
But yet, we have been taught 99.9% of nutrition certification programs out there, I have done most of them, teach caloric deprivation. And you will see every influencer out there, you will see, just reduce your caloric intake by 300 calories. I'm like, listen, just help me with the science. And what they really mean, and I'll just give you a little insider kind of secret, they basically mean we have to eat the right amount of food. But we keep phrasing it as a caloric deficit, eating less, moving more, right? Counting calories. So our brain goes deficit. I'm not losing weight. I got to go less. I got to go less. I got to go less. And eventually you're driving your body on fumes. And the more and more we do that with every single diet we're on, we're actually throwing all of our hormones, our metabolism, and our metabolic health completely out the window. When I work with women, a lot of them will come to me in their 50s. And I have a woman the other day, she was 330 pounds. She had never not been on a diet. So how is it that you can diet your way to 330 pounds and diabetes? Now, obviously, there's food choices being made in there once you get to that place. But this is like whether you're 200 pounds, 300 pounds, as soon as you start seeing that like pre-diabetes, cravings, fatigue, like I call them your body's check engine lights. We just keep thinking, I need to go on another diet. I need to go on another diet. Stubborn weight loss, all of these things are your body's symptoms. They're not the root. And we keep going after weight loss or weight as if it is the root. It is your body talking to you, telling you things. And moms especially, we just think because we are so busy that the fatigue is just part of who we are. But it's not. It's literally like your body's check engine light is on, but we have no idea, except although all we do is like put tape on it, like on top of it and hope the light goes away. But the core function of all of our bodies, what every single body needs, our body's love language is blood sugar stabilization. It's the thing that every single doctor and technically fitness pro, nutrition pro knows about, but they have no idea how to teach that. We've seen a big rise in continuous glucose monitoring because for non-diabetics. So if anybody's ever seen anything about a continuous glucose monitor, you can hear that there's like things around blood sugar that's starting to come out now. But I have known about this and I've seen the research on this for the last 20 years. Actually, a nutritionist named Mark McDonald figured this out more than 20 years ago. I was certified through him. He is now my business partner because we have been able to really crack the code on what women need to understand, what everybody really needs to understand about their bodies. Blood sugar stabilization, when your blood sugar spikes, we actually store fat. We put our body at risk for metabolic disease. We age faster. We slow down our metabolism. When we restrict, our blood sugar actually gets lower. When our blood sugar gets lower, our body holds on to fat. It actually will pull nutrients from our muscles, which is the worst place we can do it. And every time we're on a diet and we go up and down and we yo-yo, we are either good or we're off, right? We're like on the wagon, off the wagon, all of that. And don't get me started about intermittent fasting because that's literally a blood sugar roller coaster built into a diet. This is what happens over time, which is why our body will try to balance its blood sugar on its own. It tries to be your best friend. But after 10, 20, 30 years of this, it gets real tired. And so you could Google any diet in the world and you will find pros and cons about all of them. I implore everybody to Google the impact of blood sugar stabilization and find one thing that tells you that that is not the most important piece of this puzzle that nobody's talking about. So in order to do that, we have to recognize that our body needs fuel and there's only 3 macronutrients. People talk about counting macros, but it's so convoluted in the way that we do it because carbs, the reason why people actually are scared of carbs, they don't really know, is because they spike your blood sugar. And when you spike your blood sugar, you end up storing fat. But we need carbs. Carbs fuel our brain. They give us energy. Like people don't understand that fruit, vegetables are carbs, just like bread and pasta are carbs. And so we have to understand the differences between them, but we need them. protein actually helps fuel our muscles. But another thing protein does is it mitigates the blood sugar spike. So anytime we spike our blood sugar, our body will release insulin to try to mitigate that spike and try to control the foundational need it has to keep it balanced. But it won't. If it over releases insulin over years and years and years, insulin's a hormone. Once one hormone is off, all hormones are off. Hello, menopause. When you're stressed, your cortisol goes up, your glucose goes up, your blood sugar goes up. Your body releases insulin to try to mitigate that spike, and it becomes this cycle for decades. But when you eat protein at the same time that you eat a carb, the protein mitigates that spike, not needing your body to release as much insulin. And then when you have fat at the same time, these three macros were actually meant to be eaten together. That actually fuels your brain, cushions your organs, and helps you digest the carb and the protein slower. Eating what we call PFC3, it's actually what we've trademarked to be able to teach women. If you can eat a protein, fat, and carb and not stress about it, but eat when you're ready to eat until you're satisfied, about every 3 hours from within an hour of waking up until about an hour of going to bed, without tracking, without measuring, without any of that, it is incredible how immediately energy goes up. I have a woman after 2 weeks went off depression medication that she had been on for 25 years. Because once your body's in homeostasis, which is balance, everything works better. So it's like we can't save all our calories for a big meal and the holiday dinner or the holiday party. We don't want to do that. We want to be fueling ourselves with small PFC meals throughout the day. And it works great because it's sort of like if you're at a party, you can graze and eat your protein, fat, and carb, not because you want to lose weight, but because you want to be the healthiest version of yourself and be able to show up for people. Does that make sense? That's like quick nutrition 101 that nobody teaches.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. And it's contrary to a lot of the things, the fads and the things people are getting the Instagram ads for and the things that they're seeing other people, lose weight on and things like that. And so it's fascinating.
Well, and that's why the whole question is, what do you want? And why do you want it? Because I'm 50 and I'm stronger and leaner than I was when I was in my 40s. However, or my 30s actually, or even when I was an athlete. And I'm definitely healthier when I think about my time management, my knowledge of who I am, when I think about the health around my own personal life. Like every aspect, my finances are healthier because I show up healthier in every aspect of my life. But eating, this is where the problem is. So many women think eating is like the thing, but our blood sugar and so many different pieces of the puzzle are impacted. So nutrition is the foundation, but so is movement and sleep and stress and hydration and supplementation. I call them the 6 spinning plates. But I also know that we can make incredible progress just showing up for ourselves 1% at a time. That is it. And I often say, if you start your day with morning time, literally, even if it's 5 minutes, every mom will feel like they don't have enough time to show up for themselves. And I'm like, listen, if you can show up for 5 minutes and get your intention set for the day and really understand, getting grounded in gratitude, and then even just like taking a look at your day ahead and figuring out where am I going to plug in a little bit of time where I'm showing up in a healthy way for myself, it adds up and adds up. So food is a big piece of it, but it's like, if we really want to be healthy, obsessing about food it's only one piece of the puzzle. But when it comes to the holidays, when it comes to fueling our bodies, so many of us just get this conflict of feeling like you have to restrict. And then we wonder why we're so much more stressed. We wonder why we have so much more anxiety. A huge piece of this is because your blood sugar is absolutely out of whack. And the more you restrict, the more stressed your body gets. You may feel like it's a psychological stress, but it is most likely a very physiological stress. And so just thinking about fueling my body throughout the day and trusting, ready to eat, satisfied, never feeling too hungry, never feeling too full, that'll change. It'll change the way you show up every single day. It's incredible.
Well, and I would say too, because I've been there with those restrictive years and always on a diet and things like that. I would say those are the years, even though I went in with a restrictive mindset, that I probably ate more than I should have, because I I would have that mindset of like, well, it's the holidays. I guess I'll just
Yes.
let myself go for the
Yes.
next week or so.
For the next
And
2
then,
months, and I'll start again in January.
yes, or I'll start again in January. So what's wrong with that mindset too, of like, it's almost like you want to like treat yourself
Yeah. Well,
during the
because we're so
holidays.
restricted, right? I
Yeah.
mean, just think about the concept of a cheat meal. A cheat meal sounds like we're cheating. It sounds bad.
Yes. It sounds
But
negative. Yeah.
the way that I look at food is not good or bad. I don't even look at food as healthy or unhealthy because it becomes binary. What happens when you eat something bad or unhealthy? How do you feel?
Yucky.
Guilty, right? Shame. Like, and you might not feel good in your body either, but very often when we eat something quote unquote bad or unhealthy, we then fill ourselves with guilt and shame. Right. So we give ourselves these permission. You know what? Forget it. I'm just going off because I want to eat what I want to eat when I want to eat it. And I'll start again in January because our mindset is not health. It is weight always. But when we recognize food serves my body and food serves my soul, and I need both. What a different way of showing up for yourself. And this is why morning time is so important. Because if we're eating throughout the day, I'm always eating more to serve my body than I am to serve my soul, just naturally. Because I don't love, like think about this. Like when your kids, if my kids used to say, I wish we could have Christmas every day. And I'm like, you don't want Christmas every day because then you won't like appreciate it and you'll be broke, but like it won't be special. And so if we really think about it, we don't want to just gouge ourselves and binge all day, every day, but we want to give ourselves permission to during the holidays. And all we think is on or off, good or bad. And I'm really trying to flip the switch in our beliefs around food serves my body and food serves my soul. And I am going to, when I decide I'm going to go serve my soul, every Christmas Eve, we have something called chicken paprikash. It's a Hungarian meal that has chicken, but I don't eat the chicken. I eat the dumplings, and I eat all the dumplings, and I eat only the dumplings. And it is a soul-filling meal. And the old me in my 30s felt guilty and shameful when I did that. Now I am like, I don't break the promise to myself. We are intentionally having this appreciation meal because I appreciate this. And like I'm eating all day long. So I don't walk into a meal with my blood sugar really low where I'm craving carbs and craving sugar. I'm fueling myself all day long and I'm serving my body more than I'm serving my soul. And what an amazing balance that is because I feel good. And if it's not about weight, now, even if it is about weight, you're still going to make more progress that way. But if it really is about health, then it's like, oh my gosh, I just achieved a healthy balance in my mindset about this. And during the holiday season, I serve my soul a whole lot more than I serve my soul during the rest of the year, but I'm intentional. And in morning time, I like actually reflect on it. Okay, what am I doing today? We have a party and I'm going to drink and I'm going to eat and I am going to not feel a bit of guilt. And that's one of the beautiful things about the concept of PFC3, or your next meal is always 3 hours away. And it's a philosophy for life. There's no guilt. You literally you can't go back and past. You have no control over what happened in the past. And so if you were off, you served your soul a little more than you serve your body. Your next meal is 3 hours away and you just serve your body. And it's such a different way of showing up. But again, I will stress all day long, if you are there to lose weight, it will still continue to haunt you. I refuse to have my kids take care of me when I'm in my 80s. Refuse. And I don't need a flat stomach to be able to actually really be healthy. I want to be able to get up off the floor when I fall. I want to be able to kick a soccer ball with my great grandkids when I'm in my 80s. Those things that I do today are going to matter for my goals later. We don't have a goal number on the scale that is out of our control. We cannot control the number on the scale, but I can control my behaviors. I can control what I think, and I can control how I show up for myself. I just might show up for myself a little different over the holidays, but full of grace and intentionality and knowing that I absolutely should. Because food and parties and the holidays are tradition, our fellowship, but I also can practice the discipline of declining when I want to. And this is part of morning time. If I know I'm going to go to a party and I've already been to 2 parties that week, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to drink at this party. I'm not going to. I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm not going to drink. But here's the thing. I get to make the rules. I get to make the decisions based on how I feel and my why being bigger than a number on the scale. Bigger. Because once you're healthy, your body lets go of all the stuff that you've been holding on to.
So good. Yes.
It's pretty
feel so
wild.
empowered entering into this season. Yes. Thank you.
And there's one more piece I think we have to recognize when we walk into the season. Again, why morning time I think is so important. We often think, and I have to say this to my teenage or 19 and 20-year-old daughters all the time, our feelings feel very, very real. They feel very, very true. So when we feel stressed, when we feel anxious, when we feel emotional, when we feel whatever we feel, we interpret that as truth. And we might not be able to control our feelings, but we absolutely can control our thoughts. And so I teach something called the cognitive triangle. It's 3 points. Think about a triangle. It's got 3 points to it: feelings, thoughts, and actions. You just need 2 points of the triangle to be able to then influence the third. So we often think and react based on our feelings. If I think carbs are bad, or if I believe carbs are bad, then I will feel guilty when I have them, and I will try to stay away from them. And then I will have this whole crazy relationship about carbs. But if I actually feel something like, let's talk about if I believe and I feel stressed because there's carbs on the table, and I've always been taught to avoid carbs, I can feel stressed about it. I can feel anxious. I don't have to fight that. That's a really hard thing to control. But I can think something different. And this is why education and knowledge are so important, and why all the confusion out there is actually more debilitating than we realize, because we get very confused and we can't control our thoughts. But when I actually recognize and say, food serves my body and food serves my soul, and I can decide if this dumpling meal is something that I really am going to enjoy for myself, or I can remind myself that carbs give me energy and I need carbs. And then I can do something based on my thought and not based on my feelings. And I just think that as women, we correlate our feelings with our actions. Like, I feel stressed, so I am stressed. And it becomes part of our identity and part of our truth. I feel overwhelmed, so guess what? You are going to be overwhelmed. But just because you feel that way doesn't mean that has to be the truth. We do have to have a high level of awareness, though, to be able to shift our thinking so that we can then shift what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I think we just always consider feelings and thoughts to be all in one.
One and the same.
They don't have to be. And I think that's a big realization for women and for moms. And how often are we like, my daughter just had a really, really stressful weekend, and I had to fly out to her college to go help deal with it because it was a big deal. And so like, I could be like, I feel so stressed, therefore I am just like, that's it. I'm drinking, I'm eating. Like, a lot of times we associate all of our emotions to food. But if we can start to separate that a little bit more, we can start to recognize that food as a therapist might not actually be getting me to my health. And that's another reason why weight, it doesn't work as a goal. Because think about it. If you're like, your goal is to lose 40 pounds and you come home on a Monday night and you're super stressed out and there's chocolate cake on the counter, you're like, screw it, I'm not going to lose 40 pounds by tomorrow. But if I really identify what the healthiest version of me does, says, thinks, and believes, I know that chocolate cake isn't going to help me with my stress. And so a healthier version of me does something to replace those old behaviors with healthier ones, not because of weight, but because of who I really truly want to be for me, my family, and the impact that I have in this world.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. There we go. We figured out the holidays.
Check. Thank you, Carrie. Before we wrap up our episode, I do want to ask you some random personal questions for our lightning round. We do this with all our guests. Are you ready?
I don't know.
Ready or not, it's happening.
Right.
It's happening.
Ready,
okay.
Fire, aim. Okay.
All right, here we go. Nail salon, hair salon, or spa. You can only pick one place to visit for the rest of your life. Which one is it?
Hair. Look at my hair.
Yeah, your hair is gorgeous.
If we ignored this, we'd be in trouble.
Well, it is really gorgeous. I don't know.
Oh, well, thank you. That was another realization of health. Do you know how long I straightened my hair? Until I was 40, because my hair made me bad. Like, I couldn't figure it out. And like, and then when I finally actually started identifying as a curly girl, as somebody that wanted to embrace her natural self and not fight it to look like everybody else, it actually started to become beautiful. So,
I mean, it is. It probably always was. You
had different lenses on.
You had different lenses on, or maybe you needed different products.
Well, I straightened it all the time. Do you know, like I literally fought it for my whole life. And it was always so frustrating. Yeah. And I damaged it and like all the things. Yeah. I talk a lot about the balance of being healthy and going curly at the same time because there's a lot of correlation there.
Embracing it.
You didn't know that question was going to bring up all the therapy.
I love that we can tie all this back. It's
yes.
great.
You know, that's what we do. That's what we do. It's all related. Okay.
All
what
right.
else?
So what if they made a movie about your life? Who would you want to play you?
Sandra Bullock.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I love her. I just think she's like smart.
Would we make her get a perm for the movie?
She probably would have to. I think she would have to. No?
Okay.
Yeah. She's an adopted mama too. And there's like, Sandra Bullock.
All right. Last question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I think you'll appreciate this one. I just want to stop time. If I can just stop time, there are some moments I'm like, just let me have this for a little bit longer.
Pause. Yeah.
Although I think I would have maybe I'd even go back in time because you look at the pictures and videos of your kids and you're like, I did not appreciate it. And I know it was hard, right? It was hard. And let's just not sugarcoat it at all. It is the hardest time. But once they turned 12, I just felt like I lost a human. I gained another one, but that other one is never coming back.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe I changed my answer. Maybe I'd like to go back in time. Is that a superpower?
Yeah.
I don't know.
My kid asked me the other day, what age am I not really considered a kid anymore? And I thought about it and I was like, well, I guess around 12, you're more of an adolescent, and had to explain what that meant. But that's a little heartbreaking.
But my 20-year-old needed me this weekend and we slept in her bed together.
Okay. There's still hope.
It was amazing. And it was just so cool because I go to her apartment and it was clean and there were fresh flowers on the table.
Yeah.
And I was
You did well, Mama.
Look at this. And yet she still wanted to sleep with me and cuddle. So maybe they're always the kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, Carrie, thank you so much. This was such a needed conversation, I think, especially in this approaching season. Appreciate you. Tell our listeners where they can find you, learn more about you, work with you, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. My website is carrielupoli.com. I also, because morning time to me is the most important time, I go live every single morning and I do morning time with everyone. So I go at 6:45 a.m. Eastern time, which I know is too early for a lot of people, but you can always watch the replay. And I do a daily declaration of a 1% empowered mindset every single day because really, truly, I have seen it in the thousands of women I've worked with when they lose themselves, when they kind of get themselves back into the world of spiraling and not really showing up for themselves. The first thing I always say is, are you doing morning time? And they always say, no, I fell off doing morning time. So I show up every single day for mamas all over the world so that they can show up for themselves in some way. So Carrie_Lupoli, just look me up on Instagram.
Love it. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you so much for being here.
So fun.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Mama Work It podcast. I hope you feel empowered, inspired, and ready to take your next step. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another amazing mama, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps us show up wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to head over to mamaworkit.com for free resources, coaching support, and new ways to momage your days as a busy mom. Until next time, keep on working it, mama.